Welcome back to Easy and Fast English. Today we're going to talk about one small word, but a very powerful word. That word is actually. Many English learners know this word, but they don't always know how to use it naturally, and sometimes they use it in the wrong way. So today we're going to slow down, take our time, and really understand what actually means in real English. And I'm not alone today. I'm here with Maria. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you, Leo. I'm really happy to be here. And I love this topic because actually is one of those words that learners hear all the time but feel unsure about.
Exactly. So let's start very simply. Maria, when you hear the word actually, what do you think it means?
Most learners think it means something like in fact or the real truth. And that's not wrong, but it's not the full story.
Good point. So let's begin with the basic meaning. In simple English, actually is often used to correct information or to show the real situation. For example, I thought the movie was boring, but it was actually very interesting. Here, actually shows that the truth is different from what we expected.
Yes, and this is very common. Let me give another example. I thought he was American, but he's actually Canadian. So we use actually when we want to gently correct something.
That word gently is important because actually can sometimes sound rude if we use it the wrong way. And many learners don't know this.
Yes, that's true. For example, if someone says, "This restaurant is closed," and you answer, "Actually, you're wrong," that sounds a little strong, a little unfriendly.
Exactly. But if you say, actually, I think it's still open, now it sounds softer, more polite. So actually is not just about meaning, it's also about tone.
Let's talk about another very common use of actually. Sometimes we use it to add surprise. For example, I didn't expect much from the book, but it was actually amazing. This use is very natural in daily conversation.
Yes, and learners should practice this. Let's pause for a moment. If you're listening right now, try to repeat this sentence after me. It was actually better than I expected. Take your time. Great! Now let's talk about a mistake many learners make. Some learners use actually too much in every sentence. That sounds unnatural.
Right. For example, actually, I woke up early. Actually, I had breakfast. Actually, I went to work. This sounds strange. Native speakers don't speak like this.
So here's a good rule. Use actually when you are correcting something or when you want to show contrast, not just to fill space.
Let me tell a short story. When I was learning another language, I used one word too much, just like many English learners do with actually. People still understood me, but it didn't sound natural. Over time, I learned that less is more.
That's a great lesson. English is not about using many big words. It's about using the right word at the right moment.
Exactly. Now, let's look at actually in polite conversations. For example, in a cafe, the waiter says, "Do you want coffee?" You say, "Actually, I'd like tea." This is very natural.
Yes, and it sounds polite. You're not saying no directly. You're gently changing your choice. Another example. I thought I was free today, but actually I have a meeting.
Let's do a short listening practice. Listen carefully. Sentence 1. I don't live here anymore. I actually moved last year. This sounds natural, calm, and clear.
Now let's talk about something important. In some languages, there is a word similar to actually, but it's used differently. This causes confusion, so learners should always think, am I correcting something? Am I showing contrast? If not, maybe actually is not needed.
That's excellent advice. Now let's practice together. Repeat after me. Actually, I prefer staying at home. and repeat again if you want.
Very good. Actually can be used to correct information, show contrast, express surprise, politely change an idea, but it should be used carefully.
And remember this, you don't need perfect English to speak well. You need clear English, natural English, and learning words like actually helps you sound more confident.
Yes, and don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. What matters is that you keep listening, keep practicing, and keep going. This is part 2 of our lesson about the word actually. In part 1, we talked about what actually means and how native speakers use it. Now, we're going one step deeper. We're going to compare actually and in fact. Many English learners think these two expressions are the same, but they're not exactly the same. And understanding the difference will help you sound more natural and more confident.
I'm really glad we're doing this topic because this confusion is very common. I hear learners say, in fact, when they should say actually, and the opposite too.
Exactly. So let's start simple. Maria, how would you explain in fact in easy English?
I would say that in fact is used to give strong, clear information. It sounds more serious, more formal, and more direct than actually.
That's a great explanation. So here's a key idea for everyone listening. Actually is common in conversation. In fact is stronger and more formal. Let's look at examples.
Okay, example 1. I thought the test was difficult. Actually, it was quite easy. This sounds natural in conversation. Now compare it with, I thought the test was difficult. In fact, it was quite easy. This sounds more serious, almost like writing or explaining something important.
Yes, exactly. You could hear in fact in a presentation, a documentary, or a serious discussion. But in daily conversation, people usually prefer actually.
Let's look at another example. He seems very quiet. Actually, he talks a lot with friends. Now with in fact, he seems very quiet. In fact, he talks a lot with friends. Both are correct, but the feeling is different.
Right. In fact sounds like you are giving proof, almost like evidence. Actually sounds lighter, more friendly.
Now, let's talk about a common learner mistake. Some learners use in fact when they just want to be polite. For example, in a cafe, I'll have coffee. In fact, I want tea. That sounds strange.
Yes, very strange. In that situation, the correct word is actually, I'd like tea. In fact does not fit here because you're not proving anything. You're just changing your mind.
So here's a simple rule. Use actually when you're correcting yourself or gently changing information. Use in fact when you want to emphasize the truth or strongly correct an idea.
That's a perfect rule. Now, let me tell a short story. When I was first starting to teach English, I noticed that advanced students used in fact a lot because it sounded smart. But native speakers don't always want to sound smart. They want to sound natural.
That's such an important lesson. English is not about using many big words. It's about choosing the right tone.
Let's do a short listening practice now. Listen carefully. Sentence 1. I thought she was angry. Actually, she was just tired. Sentence 2. I thought she was angry. In fact, she was just tired. Both are correct, but sentence 2 feels stronger.
Now let's ask our listeners to participate. If you're listening, repeat this sentence slowly. Actually, I don't agree. Good. Now repeat this one. In fact, I don't agree. Notice the difference in feeling.
Excellent. Now, let's talk about when not to use either word. Sometimes you don't need actually or in fact at all. For example, I live in this city. No correction, no contrast, no emphasis, so no extra word is needed.
Yes, extra words don't always make English better. Clear English is better English.
Actually is common, conversational, polite, flexible. In fact is stronger, more formal, more serious. Both are useful, but they are not the same.
And don't worry if you mix them sometimes. Even native speakers change their style depending on the situation. Learning takes time.
This is part 3 of our podcast about the word actually. In part 1, we talked about what actually means. In part 2, we compared actually and in fact. And now we're going to talk about another very common word. That word is really. Many English learners use really all the time, but sometimes they use it when actually would be better. So today we'll slow down and make this clear.
This is a great topic because really is everywhere in English, and learners often think it means the same thing as actually.
Exactly. So let's start with a simple question. Maria, what does really usually mean?
Most of the time, really is used to show emotion. It can show surprise, interest, emphasis, strong feeling. It's often about how we feel.
That's a very good way to explain it. So here's an important idea for everyone listening. Really equals emotion. Actually equals correction or contrast. Let's look at examples.
Okay, example 1. This movie is really good. Here, really means very. It shows strong feeling.
Yes. Now listen to this sentence. This movie is actually good. This feels different. It sounds like the speaker expected the movie to be bad, but it wasn't.
Exactly. So the meaning changes even though the sentence looks similar.
Let's compare two sentences. Number 1, are you really tired? Number 2, are you actually tired? Maria, what's the difference?
Great example. Are you really tired means I want to know how tired you are. But are you actually tired means I'm not sure if you're tired or not. Maybe I doubt it.
That difference is very important. Actually often shows doubt or correction. Really shows interest or emotion.
Let's look at a common mistake. Some learners say, I really don't live here, but they actually mean, I don't live here anymore, I moved. In this case, actually would be better.
Yes, I really don't live here sounds emotional. I actually don't live here sounds factual.
Now, let's talk about questions. Listen carefully. Did you really do that? This sounds like surprise, but did you actually do that? This sounds like doubt or checking the truth.
That's a great comparison. So here's a simple tip. If you are surprised, excited, or impressed, use really. If you are correcting, checking facts, or explaining the truth, use actually.
Let's practice together. If you're listening, repeat this sentence. I really like learning English. Good. Now repeat, I actually like learning English. Notice the difference.
Very good. Now let me tell a short story. A student once told me, I really live in this city. I understood him, but it sounded strange. What he wanted to say was, I actually live in this city, because he was correcting someone's idea.
That's a great real-life example. Mistakes like this are very normal, and the good news is people still understand you.
Yes, English is flexible, and learning these small differences takes time, so don't rush yourself.
Before we finish, let's summarize. Really shows emotion, means very, expresses surprise. Actually corrects information, shows contrast, explains the real situation. Both are useful, but they are not interchangeable.
Exactly. Thank you again, Maria, for being part of this series. And thank you to everyone listening to Easy and Fast English. In the next episode, we'll continue with another confusing English word and make it simple. Until next time, keep listening, keep practicing, and enjoy the journey.